Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Good morning, Bix Weir, roadrunner.com with your morning horn disease, your sip of chaga coffee. JC is about to update this poster. Maybe he already has, actually. Let's take a look. Not yet. I will be on with Snippy and JC, and I think Woo Woo Dude might even show up tonight, 5 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Come check us out. Lots of fun there. There's no holds barred, although we try to keep JC on YouTube for as long as we can. He's on his third, count them, 3 YouTube channels. Anyway, tune in live on YouTube. Jean-Claude Beyond Mystic 3 for old friends talk about things we've been predicting for a very long time. All right, check it out. Cliff Hyatt talked about dollar days. You know, we've seen dollar days here and there, but not really. What he was talking about, it would go $1, $2, $2, $3, $3, $5, and then just run. That's all assuming that the exchanges are still open. I think we'll hit a point where the exchanges will not be open. Although the banksters have pretty much gotten out of their silver short position. Now the big hedge funds and people who really won't get a bailout are on the short side. And that's the question I have to ask for you. You've got Trump getting arrested today, which basically lays the entire field of criminal government workers open for prosecution. You can't say, oh, he was president. You can't, Obama, Bush, the Clintons, Biden, absolutely Biden. Everything is open now. Now that Trump has been charged, there is no sacred, you can't go after a politician, which is bullshit anyway, because why is there a different legal system for them? You might ask yourself, well, how did Barack Obama have enough money to buy his mansions all over the world? I think he got it from the Iran money, but why not investigate that? Obviously, there's a million other things you can get Obama for on the Q side, but hey, that's what'll happen. I think that Trump is allowing this to happen. This is a play we're watching, and he's allowing it to happen. The good guys are allowing this to happen because it opens the field. And if you didn't know, if you think, oh my God, this is horrible for our financial system or our legal system, our legal system is corrupt from head to toe, from the cops to not all cops, mind you, but the ones at the head of the departments, absolutely the head of the government, the cops, the lawyers, the prosecutors, and the judges, and the Supreme Court. All of it needs to be tossed, and that's what we're getting to. Imitations of gold and silver will be tossed into the lake. That was the Nostradamus prophecy, which is, how many years ago was that? Jesus, I don't even know. A few hundred years ago, he wrote that prophecy down. We've all been waiting for it. What are imitations of gold and silver? Could be, remember, gold and silver was money back when Nostradamus was his heart was beating. So imitations of gold and silver is everything. I mean, it's electronic blips, it's derivatives, it's paper dollars. Everything is an imitation of the money of Nostradamus time, and they all get tossed into the water. And how would that happen? A derivative meltdown. Oh, by the way, in case you hadn't seen it, and I talked about it yesterday, I think, or the day before on the private road, Credit Suisse. Did you know the chairman of Credit Suisse is a guy named Axel Lehman? You can't make this stuff up. The future will not be exactly the same as the past, but it will sure rhyme a lot. And Lehman rhymes with Lehman, if you ask me. Credit Suisse is a massive derivative player. Credit Suisse is the chairman of Credit Suisse Holdings is Blythe Masters. Yes, the same wicked witch of silver that got booted from her position in cryptos as well. But she ended up at one of the most systemic problems in the derivative space, which was Credit Suisse. And that's a counterparty to all the big banks. So big banks, little banks, small banks, high banks, tall banks, doesn't matter. Sam I Am, they're all going down. I'll get to silver in a second. Let me read you something that I rarely have time to answer emails and stuff like that, but Amy sent me this one from our one of our customers that asked, and she's been dealing with this a while, and she's like, oh, you can tell her how to do this. There's not a good answer. Anyway, here was the question. You always mention get out of the system. However, it doesn't seem practical to either stuff cash under your mattress or have 100% precious metals. The system, like paying for groceries and insurance and property taxes, etc., still relies on unbacked fiat. I know you don't get financial, but what's the alternative to having cash in banks or brokerages? Here was my answer. Yes, at the moment, you will still need to keep some money in the banks to function in their system. They set it up as such that dealing in cash is difficult to navigate. It's a really tough dilemma for those people or companies that transact with a lot of money in the system, because we have all become so used to or conditioned to think that holding our wealth at banks is the only way to go, especially for the ease of online transactions. Banks have also made it very, very, very difficult to use physical cash, aka Federal Reserve notes, in both the withdrawal area and the redeposit area. So you can withdraw all the cash you want over time, and then say you want to buy some silver and you throw it all back into the bank. If it's anything over like $10,000, they might not let you do it. They might flag your account and close down your account. I did have that happen to me. And it could be any bank. They don't like filling out any forms for the government saying this bank deals in cash. If they had their way, they would want no cash at all. But unfortunately for them, they're going to crash before they see that day. Anyway, okay, so here's where I went to, but I don't look at silver or gold as traditional investments, and I don't measure their value in Federal Reserve notes. To me, they are a way to store value and wealth without serious value dilution, as in the case of fiat money printing right now, and to stay away from third-party risk of failure. After you get some precious metals in your possession, you will be getting more and more in your possession as the old system has third-party failures. So third-party failures meaning like Credit Suisse, Silicon Valley Bank, FTX, all these things are third-party failures. And the more that happens, the more you're going to want to get physical precious metals in your own possession. When the system breaks down, you will wish you had secured all of your wealth and possessions in your own hands, and you wouldn't mind the hassle of navigating both systems today. It's a delicate dance, but more and more people are learning how to do it, and that's exactly what the banks don't want, as they are all fractionally reserved and need people to stay in the system for the system to survive. That's my take. Yes, it is a hassle to deal in possessions, your assets in your own possession. You'll have to go to the bank and put money in the bank for rent every month, and you'll visit a bank more often than not, being out of the banking system, believe it or not, because you don't trust them to hold your wealth overnight. And that's a beautiful thing. So yeah, it is a hassle, but at the same time, take out a calculator and type in the amount of money you're willing to lose because it was in a bank. And you'll see very quickly, what do you mean lose? What do you mean lose, Bix? I get that all the time, even from family members, about the stock market. What do you mean lose? Stock market's been going up for over 100 years. It can't just stop? When was the last time an unbacked fiat monetary system, global unbacked fiat monetary system, failed? It's never been one. There's never been a global faith-based system. There's been plenty of faith-based systems like the Weimar Republic and Zimbabwe. We all know those stories, wheelbarrows full of cash. But a global system failing all at the same time in every country on the planet after everything turned electronic and digital, that's a big deal. No, there won't be any stocks left. No, there won't be any bonds left. Well, who owns the companies? The companies won't be around. Most of them until we start over. And they clearly won't be in the shape they're in today. You know, if the banks fail, expect 80% job loss, 90% job loss, 100% job rejiggering. Expect nationalization, confiscation, you name it. They're going to try to do it if you live in a country that you don't control. That's a big part of what's going on in the USA right now, is show the people how corrupt the system is so that they retake control of their government, of their monetary system. Yes, we control the monetary system. We have money on our books, on our constitutional books. It's gold and silver. There's the other question I get a lot. Bix, what if I have U.S. mint coinage, silver coinage, but I don't have the little identifier notch on the bottom like the new silver eagles have and gold eagles have? I would say, I don't know, truthfully. Well, first of all, I'd say the new gold and silver eagles with the notch that have been sold, what's the plan? I mean, I would say those are pretty much the same as the pre-65 coinage and the silver eagles prior, because there's no identifier on it. It's not in the system if they do put an identifier on it. Now, it might be easier with the new 2002 and 2003 silver eagles to go back, and I think 2001. I think it started in like halfway through 2001, to go back and put an identifier on it. But will that be the answer? No, I think they'll all be much more valuable than just regular silver rounds, silver bars, depending on what country you're in, because they are legal tender in the United States of America. And when the Federal Reserve notes are gone, when the banks end, the Federal Reserve note is done. How long will cash last? Cash will last maybe a week or two. I laugh when people say, well, I want 2 years worth of cash sitting around. You don't want 2 years worth of cash. If you need the cash in a breakdown of the banking system, it's not going to last very long. A couple weeks maybe before they figure out, are we going to rejigger and restart this thing? Or is what Dick Allgaier and the remote viewing guys, what they saw as the closing of Congress, going to happen? I think it's the closing of Congress. And 5 years ago, it might have been almost impossible to even think about. But you look at Congress now and the division between parties and the inability to even agree on anything. Of course, they're going to default on the debt. Of course they are. They can't. They hate each other. And it's good for our country because they need to get out of the way for the people to take over their country again. And that's what's going to happen. By the way, no country has ever paid off their debt. So the United States will never pay off its debt. It's unheard of that the U.S. not pay its debt. Bullshit. It's so much less unheard of than everything else our government is doing. Of course they're not going to pay it. They never will. That was never the plan. Ruta wrote it in the sand. Print money to infinity. And that's kind of where we are. I do think the Federal Reserve will bail out the U.S. government, print as much money as they need to make payroll, give money to every bank, every company, every individual, every person. Like San Francisco, I heard passed a city ordinance. They're going to pay every black person $5 million for reparations. The Fed will probably pay for that too. Everything is a systemic risk now for the Fed. And that gets to the insanity of what the underlying cause. We live in a faith-based system. And that's why gold and silver are running so much right now. Faith in our system is deteriorating. And they're allowing the price. This wasn't because Trump got arrested, or is getting arrested, that the price of silver and gold are jumping. It's allowed to jump because a guy at the Exchange Stabilization Fund clicked a mouse. Now, how many times have they clicked the mouse? I think the good guys are in charge. At some point, we'll see the $1 days, $2 days, $3 days, $5 days, and then $100 days if the exchanges stay open. But I don't think they'll stay open as the system degrades. So the system is falling apart. The banks have, I think, successfully, for the most part, gotten out of their silver short position. Now it's in hands of these hedge funds and big like retirement funds, idiot technical traders. I mean, I can't imagine any human on the planet who would, even if they have silver in their hand. I mean, a lot of these mining or the metals dealers, deal in derivatives because they have the underlying metal. So they look at it as a wash position. I'm not so sure it is anymore. Definitely not if you have a long, because when the system shuts down and you're long on the COMEX, you're gone. Sorry. I think the shorts will be gone too. The whole thing will be gone. So maybe you're happy that the COMEX shut down because you've got shorts, but you've got the metal backing it, and you win because that thing ain't opening up again. So I don't know. I think using leverage to buy precious metals is a fool's game, and it has proven to be so for so long. But at the same time, to me, it's more of a karma thing. You didn't earn the money; you just borrowed the money, and that's why you're buying gold and silver to hedge the criminal borrowing system, the fractional reserve system, the banking system. So, but that's up to you. I don't know what your karma is, and for me, yeah, I used credit a long time ago, and I'm like, that was the dumbest thing I ever did, and I paid for it. Because you don't know how long this thing can go on. And you might get cheap credit cards a year ago. Oh, 0% interest. All of a sudden you find out you can't roll it over because that's the game that the bankers play. Now you got to pay 28% or something ridiculous like that, which I can't even believe it's legal, but it is. Anyway, all right, back to gold and silver. Yes, remember, if we're comparing 2008, the Lehman, Bear Stearns complete debacle, we were literally hours away from the destruction of the system. You compare that on the silver market in 2008 to today, we're talking tens of millions of more people understand what's going on in silver. And all it takes is one, truthfully. Andy Checkman's been getting huge orders. So the big money knows now. Well, the smart people within the big money. When the stock market starts failing and they see the prices of gold and silver continuing to rise, it'll really click in their mind. These are third-party assets. If you hold them in your own possession, you're not at risk of failure of a third party. You don't care if Schwab goes down or Fidelity goes down or J.P. Morgan goes down or any of your bullion depositories go down because you have access to your metal. So keep that in mind. Interesting, some commodity producers are now being offered Chinese yuan and not dollars. Here's an interesting thought. What's the total purchasing power of all these commodity dealers around the world? It's massive. It's huge. It's gigantic. How savvy are they on the system and third-party risk? I don't think they're all that savvy, but they'll be the first ones to change over and say, oh, my God, I shouldn't accept U.S. dollars, absolutely. Why would I accept Chinese yuan? What makes that better than the U.S. dollar? And pretty soon they'll get to the ultimate conclusion. It's like, holy shit, I need gold and silver. I need the monetary metals. Because the unbacked fiat currencies like the U.S. dollar, like the Chinese yuan, like the ruble, you name it, they're not going to accept any of that. And they'll switch on a dime. That's why you want to be 20 years early, not 1 minute late to metals. By the way, if you don't have silver and you've been watching this video, you should have put pause on the video, went down to your local coin shop and bought as much silver as you can, then come back and finish the video. Or you can just call Andy Shackman, 800-822-8080, 800-822-8080, or even better is email him, info at milesfranklin.com, milesfranklin.com, and say, send me a list of your inventory and what I can buy out of inventory. I always recommend buying out of inventory because I don't know how long this thing can last. How long is it before people say, oh my God, I have $10 million in the bank and it's 100% at risk right now. I need to get it into something real. And then poof, all it takes is 2 or 3 of those and it's like, all right, there's a metal shortage. You're going to wait 2 to 3 weeks for your metal, and you don't want to do that in this situation. Really interesting thought for the collectors of silver eagles. If you believe that the silver eagles are more valuable in the years where they made less of them, this might be the smallest silver eagle production year in history. I feel it in my bones that Ventris Gibson, the head of the U.S. Mint, who can't make over 900,000 silver eagles per month is going to recommend the shutdown of the mint. As once silver rises over $30, they're going to shut down Silver Eagle production. So keep that in mind. We might see the smallest 2023, maybe the smallest production of Silver Eagles in history. Right now they're at 5,749,000. They're already close to the smallest. But besides 1986, where they only produced in November and December, it was about 5 million ounces. I think 1997 was the second. That was the first year. Is 9.4 million ounces. I might be wrong. There might be some smaller ones, but definitely, when Ventures Gibson, this ain't gonna last a year, so she's not gonna be making 900 a month, 900,000 a month. So maybe it'll stop at 6 or 7 million Silver Eagles in 2023, and then probably we'll be working on something else. Like making Silver Eagles as money, and then it explodes. That could be 2023. I would think it would be, actually. So there's official. Maybe this is the year for the blanks. Might actually in 2023 have the blank notches might be more valuable, because it was the last year they made Silver Eagle notches without an identifier on them. Yeah, you never know with collectors. You never know. But remember, if you're going to buy Silver Eagles, you're going to pay $10, $15 over spot. I think it's way too much, but at the same time, I think you do need some U.S. If you live in the United States, you need some U.S. coinage. If you live in England or Canada or Australia, get your country's mint's coinage. Absolutely. And I don't think the premiums are like anything like the Silver Eagle. And that's 100% Ventures Gibson, who takes marching orders from Janet Yellen, by the way. It's their fault. It's not like they can't make them. It's not like they don't have the silver. It's that they're choosing not to make them because they know they're returning to a gold and silver standard. And I think these will be part of the monetary system. They don't want the smart people to get ahead of the game. For Road to Ruta people, I think it's too late. We're already ahead of the game. But if you haven't invested in silver yet, do not wait till this video ends. Send Andy an email, info@milesfranklin.com. Mainly go to your local coin shop and build up some relationships, because that's who you're probably be selling it for. You'll walk down with your 1 ounce Silver Eagle and you'll say, hey, give me my $5,000 for this Silver Eagle. And they'll say, oh my God, you have a Silver Eagle? I'll give you $10,000 for it. That type of thing. In the new cash, whatever the cash is. All right. As far as cryptos, the first cryptos to run, I think, will be the good cryptocurrencies. Obviously, Bitcoin, because it's the first mover and the big money's already in there, so they're going to be bidding that up. I think Ethereum and the Ethereum tokens and all the altcoins will take a little longer. I don't know. I hold my cryptos for the future, for past the crash, not during the crash. I don't think they'll do well during the crash. Because they're rigged. They're 100% rigged, and Gary Gensler and the U.S. Treasury still have some left they can dump at any point. And then, obviously, it's all derivative markets. But my number one crypto is Theta for the long term, and Theta Fuel. Veritasium for if they try to save the old system. They try to save the U.S. stock market, the bond market, the commodity markets. They'll use Veritasium. But that's hard to get. I would say the best crypto to buy now is actually Litecoin. Litecoin is the right coin. I think 300 to 1 Litecoin to Bitcoin ratio is even more out of whack than the silver and gold ratio, which is at 80 to 1. I think silver and gold easily will go to 10 to 1, probably 1 to 1. The Bitcoin Litecoin relationship, people really don't understand much about it. But remember, the Bitcoin people, who are like the richest people in cryptos, they love Litecoin because it's a test net for Bitcoin and other reasons. And a 300 to 1 ratio will be laughed at as the crypto people. I don't know many people who will buy Bitcoin over $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, but they'll buy Litecoin at $92. Absolutely. And don't forget, with Litecoin, they got Mimblewimble, which was a huge move because that allows for transactions that can't be tracked. And that's a big thing in the future of money. So that's my take. All the others, some will survive. Tether will not survive. Those guys will be in jail sooner rather than later, in my opinion. It was always a fraud from day one, but the exchanges that perpetuate the fraud are all in on the game as well. Binance and Coinbase and Gemini, they're all in on the game. They know it's so easy to rig crypto prices. And they'll run the little coins up, and then they'll crash them because crypto people especially don't like to do any due diligence. They want to chase a shiny object. So, they can take it, just go down the list. Just pick anyone right here. Let's go with Dash. I remember Dash back in the day. They'll make Dash run up 50%. Everybody will jump into Dash saying, oh, it's the new thing, without doing any research, any due diligence. And then the exchanges will crash it and run away with the money. And everybody's, oh, I shouldn't have got that. And, I traded all my pancake swap for Dash and ended up losing so much. It happens so much in cryptos because people don't do any due diligence. I've done due diligence on a few coins, not all of them. A lot I'll start and stop going, this ain't going to work. And that's a lot. Probably 50, 75 of these in the top 100 you won't see after the next in the new system, whatever it is. But again, I love Theta because Theta actually does something. Is it a security? Not in the technical term of a security, but Gary Gensler wants to apply anything that is not a cryptocurrency as a security. So we'll see what happens there. But that's fine. I don't care. That Theta is the future of the internet. If you like the internet, it's the future of the metaverse. If you like the metaverse, it's the future of NFTs. If you like NFTs, it's the future of building your own blockchain. If you like blockchains, yes, you can build. Amazon can build their own blockchain on the Theta network. So, yep, that's a good one. Interesting article here. Millennial CEO accused of tricking J.P. Morgan into $175 million purchase charge with fraud. So Jamie Dimon doesn't like it when a millennial plays his game on his company. 30-year-old founder of college financial planning website accused of fabricating nearly 4 million account users before selling it to J.P. Morgan for $175 million has been charged with fraud. Yeah, the banksters absolutely can weaponize the legal system. And by the way, this millennial who's getting busted for getting charged for $175 million can't pay off the regulators, can't pay off the judges like J.P. Morgan can. Again, let's take a look at J.P. Morgan's track record. Great website called violationtracker.goodjobsfirst.org. Look up Violation Tracker, and here it is. J.P. Morgan Chase in the last since in 2020, they've had. Here's how many payoffs they've had: 223 different payoffs to get out of jail. 223 times they paid off the regulators, and the tune of $36 billion with a B. $36 billion. I'll guarantee you they made hundreds of billions of dollars by doing this. It's just a cost of business for Jamie Dimon and friends. Now, this young lady will not be able to pay off the regulators $175 million like Jamie Dimon does. Sorry, lady. You messed with the wrong mobster. That's America these days. Anyway, yes, silver's running. Buy anything under $30, and I'll say anything under $40, and then I'll say anything under $50. I don't think I've ever bought silver above $35, but I know I will now. When silver breaks out of 30, it's going to run right to 50. It might have a little hiccup there, scare some people, and then it's off to the races when it goes over 50, which is the 1980 all-time high and the 2011 all-time high. Next stop, I think, is $600 to $800. After it messes around a bit there, it's into the thousands. Much faster than gold will ever run. If they're freely traded, silver will run 100 times faster than gold. If they're not freely traded, it depends on what the riggers want to do. But they know the Achilles heel of the bankers is not gold. Bankers have all the gold. It is silver. And who will be competing for it? You and me. You and I will be competing for the silver. And, oh, by the way, did I tell you every solar panel manufacturer who just saw a report that by 2050, 100% of the silver will be used in solar panel manufacturing, leaving nothing for the electric car manufacturing. There's so much going into this. Right now, 60% of all silver mined or recycled goes into industrial production, which means is gone. So silver shouldn't be, 7-1 like it's coming out of the ground with gold. It should be 60% of that, like 3-1. So silver today should be priced at about $600. Today, $700, which would put it at 3-1 with gold, and that's where it's going. Although gold will be maybe $5,000, $10,000 max for gold because there's so much gold. Whereas silver, we just don't know how high it could go. It hasn't been freely traded in over 100 years. So I'm excited to be there 23 years early now. You should be excited to be there if you bought today, because better 23 years early than 1 second too late. Because 1 second too late, it becomes unobtainium. You can't get it at any price, and that's where we're headed. Anyway, that's what I got for you. Exciting times. Again, tonight I'm talking with, look at that. I'm on there now. The Wacky Woo with Jason F4, Bix Weir, Woo Dude, and Jean-Claude. 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. I'm also talking to Josh Page of Pebbleton Post. I'm not sure when he's going to post that, but I'll let you guys know. This is Bix. I'll talk to you later.